And I don't know. When you folks presented this for us to explore, I shuddered and the rest of the committee shuddered, saying a lot more work. But that within minutes that changed. We got ourselves involved in honest dialogue, a course of study, and just a lot of soul searching in wrestling with what does Indigenous People Day mean to this community. And I'd like to recommend that you take a look at our proclamation and weigh it and vote on it. I'd like to have Gwendolyn just spend a minute and talk about the process that it took to get here today. Then I'll read the proclamation with Gwendolyn. And then I would like, there are two people that are instrumental to us being here today. Both community members. One is Samantha Klein. I'd like to thank her. Samara, I'm so sorry, Klein. And the other one is Stephen Goodman, and he'll be speaking after we read the proclamation. Thank you.
All right, keep going. Good. That's good. Hi, everyone. I'm Gwendolyn Vincent of State Road and also the Vice Chair of the Legacy Committee. And Randy captured it pretty well. We met as a committee and we read a draft proclamation. And our first intentional decision was to not put it in context of what is normally done in October, but really think about who we wanted to celebrate and honor and why we wanted to do that. So we went through a big process of just thinking about what being Indigenous means and what that means to celebrate and look at our history honestly and authentically and to listen to the storytelling that Stephen shared with us of family stories and stories of our area, and then coming up with words that really captured what our intention should be as a community. And I just want you all to know that what we're proposing is to honor those groups, honor the people that were here first, and begin a relationship of repair and healing. And we don't actually know what that all looks like, but we know what our intention should be and how we would like us as a community to be reflective of our history.
Without further ado, the mission of the Legacy Committee, I just have to remind the world, because I remind myself every day, just makes me smile, to preserve and promote Great Barrington native W.E.B. Du Bois's legacy as a scholar and activist for freedom, civil rights, progressive education, economic justice, and racial equality. This is the proclamation that we'd like to submit to you. Whereas the town of Great Barrington recognizes that Indigenous peoples of the land that would later become known as the Americas have occupied these lands since time immemorial.
Now therefore be it resolved by the Select Board that the town of Great Barrington, starting on the second Monday in October, shall recognize the Indigenous people on this land on Indigenous Peoples Day, specifically honoring the nation and the tribes of the Berkshires, AI, American Indigenous Peoples.
Be it further resolved that the town of Great Barrington shall honor Indigenous people and celebrate Indigenous history, tradition, and culture throughout its intentions and actions, in witness thereof. Stephen? Oh, I'm sorry, Stephen. Are there any questions at this point?
No, let's all Stephen speak.
Okay, great.
The size of that
I know,
beast.
I love dogs.
Oh my
That's
God.
what I want to do.
Wow.
can only give history, how through the law of attraction and through my authenticity, I am brought here. I was invited to come and sit. And I brought a young man with me. And I asked that young man, I said, can you explain how I live? What the word indigenous means. It is not a skin color, it is not a nationality, it's a way of living. I also explained that I am not a man or a woman. I am from both. In my language, we say, ikche wichasha, common man. I'm here. I'm here. We've been here from time immemorial. This isn't a beginning. This is a finishing. And that resolve gives us an opportunity to heal. When I was asked my opinion, I said, it's not my place to speak about what I think. It is my place to receive. So I will say this. I was asked because it was told to me that the select board was considering creating Indigenous Peoples Day on a specific date. My response is it doesn't matter whether it coincides with another date or not. What does matter is that on that day, we are focused in a prayer. It is about children, and it finishes in a prayer. So again, I would invite questions that you would have for me, as I do have the authority to stand here, and I took the authority before I ever stood here to a man whose family lineally dates back to registered 1529 treaty rights. I look forward to seeing him. I reached out to him. He is currently publicly working at the climate march, which we should be really focused on, which we should all be really focused on as Indigenous people, to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. With that, I'm open to any questions you have, and I will accurately and specifically answer them as fast and clear as I can.
There appears to be no questions.
There are no questions. That's good. And I'll leave it with this. I was sitting last year at this time, and Samara, her little girl is in the same with my little girl, in the same classes. And I'm sitting with 4 little girls, and they're all singing songs about Columbus. And I'm sitting at the table. And see, now this is how we heal the emotions of what this is. And this is what you can now understand. I started crying. I'm an adult, I'm a parent. I'm doing everything within my power to not viscerally let them see my body. But my little girls are angelic and they say, what's wrong? And I asked the parents, the mothers that were there with both of those groups of girls, I said, do you understand if I speak on these things, that then people think that I'm horrific for speaking about the situations that are at hand? And let me say this. I should not have to. In 2019, I should not have to explain to the little girls why I'm crying. And I will leave you with thinking of this. We would not have a national football team named the Blackskins. Not one of us would accept this. And as a community, we would we would take a stand for our ancestors. And so with that authority, I'll share this with you. We have a national football team named the Redskins. And every one of us in this entire community, in this entire society, is responsible for that still existing. Every one of us today can hear it from me. We are all responsible for it still existing today. And when you as a people are ready to give up that pain of what that entitlement gives you, us as Indigenous people, we can adopt. We're a government-to-government relationship. We help create your Constitution. We are sovereign. We have passports. We can adopt the DACA children. I file as an S Corp. I'm tax exempt for commercial business on and off the reservation. We can come to communities, file as S Corps under that sovereignty, bring charters as I have done across the United States privately and quietly. There are opportunities when you today are talking about an issue that you will be speaking about today as a community. I am tax exempt. We can take that tax and turn it back to your community, not to where it doesn't belong. And this starts with all of you owning the emotional joy of what it feels like to watch me be allowed to exist on my own continent. My family were not citizens of the United States until 1924. Before that, we were legal tender that could be sold for body parts in America. This is the emotion and the truth that we get to acknowledge. My family were not citizens until 1924. We were animals on a reservation to breed out our blood quantum. None of you are in agreement with that. Because if I believe you are, like Greta said today, I would be believing that you are evil, and I will not believe that. I am a non-violent person. I do not have the authority to lash out. I only have the authority to extend both of my hands. This is painful for me to be here because it's not my choice. I was raised that I'm an Indian. Not that I'm a Native American. I'm Indian. I was raised on reservation, talk like this, and if you speak like this, you can't get a job. So I had to put my hair like it says, and I learned to assimilate. And I've assimilated quite well. But this is not about assimilation. This is about our community making a direct stand I am here, I am available. I come with a plethora of beautiful, happy, joyous, healthy Indigenous peoples. It is not a skin color or a nationality. It is a way of being. Our cardinal directions from my tribe are black, red, yellow, white. That is all directions. And it is elemental. That's what the authority of being Indigenous means. We are elemental. We are all Ikche Wichasha, common people. And tonight, there are uncommon things coming through my voice. I am a hollow bone. I won't remember the words that I'm speaking. I was groomed and coached to speak and be in line. I said, this isn't how I work. I was invited to speak what was directly invited to you in my language. I said, there are no words where there, therefore, there, out, as in my language. In my language, we open our hands and you feel it. Because you feel the authenticity of my entire life opening my eyes as an Indigenous person. And with that ability, I invite you all to become Indigenous on Indigenous Peoples Day. And we will celebrate it as a family, because that's what being Indian means to me, that we're family. Thank you all.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt this Indigenous Peoples' Day proclamation. I second.
Any discussion from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to do something which is very unapt, but it is my opportunity to honor you in this way, and I'm going to sing you a thank you song, because I have to be in my authenticity, and that's what started me at 4 this morning in prayer, before I ever came here, so that I could come here with clean eyes, and good words, and good clean ears, and an open heart. call my family, and we're all gonna be dancing inside.
Thank you.
Thank you.